You know, some decisions are easy, like chocolate or vanilla.
But it's hard to know what choices to make when it comes to your health.
And that's why we're so excited about our show, Your Health A to Z.
We'll cover the basics like nutrition, fitness, and lifestyle choices.
And we'll help you make simple decisions on tough choices, like when to visit urgent care over the ER. Plus an ounce of prevention for the #1 killer of women, heart disease.
It's everything about your health, A to Z.
Thursday night at 8 o'clock on News Channel 3. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our program. I'm Heidi Fogelsong.
And I'm Dr. John Shufeldt. We are so excited to be here tonight for the special edition of Your Health A to Z.
Now, this is a different kind of show. It's really an extension of the show, Your Life A to Z. You're on that program all the time, Dr. John, which airs every weekday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on News Channel 3. Only this program tonight has a different focus.
Right. Our program tonight is going to really focus on women's health and what you can do to help yourself. We'll give you some helpful hints on how to be your own medical advocate. We'll talk about prevention. We've got some great insight with some different guests tonight.
Right, and what's really important is being proactive to stay healthy, because women, you know where you are right now, and you're not taking care of yourself enough. So it's time to change that, and hopefully this program we're going to impart very important information. Also, we've got some great true life stories.
We do. Some of our guests tonight have experienced and lived through cancer, and kind of lived to tell about it, and some other experience they've had with their own family, for example.
Right, and I think that's so important when you deal with motivation, to feel inspired by people who've dealt with adversity and are doing really well in life, and actually better as a result of the experience. Also, okay, Dr. John, now you're a guy, but you know, women have to look good. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. And
do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. We've got some great tips on how to improve your look for under $1,000, and we're going to be actually doing it here today.
Oh, I love that one. I think there's like hair removal and spa day, like to the next level. Anyway, also how to handle the end of life issues with love and dignity. An incredible piece with Hospice of the Valley. Also, we've got a studio audience here, so guys, give a good applause for yourself. Look at that smiling group. Now you know, Dr. John, oh, look at them. They have no idea that we're going to be bringing them onto the stage and using them as patients.
Right, and maybe even guinea pigs.
Ooh, good. Also, we've got this guy here, and, you know, you always have hosts. You know, like I'm your perky talent co-hosting kind of gal.
Perky's a word?
Yeah. You know, I'm like the personality part. But to do a show about your health, we thought it would be important to have a real doctor, and Dr. John Shufeldt is just that. So, you know, just because you play a doctor on TV, we want to hear the credentials.
The credentials. Let's see. I practice emergency medicine at St. Joseph's Hospital here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I also have a company called NextCare. It's an urgent care center located here and in Tucson. All
right. So you are legit. We like that. Okay, it's your life and your health, and we have got it all covered tonight. So let's go ahead and get started and get to really the heart of things, especially when we're talking about the heart.
Very good. I started the program about a year ago called Top Doc, and Dr. Nathan Laufer was one of the physicians we had on it, and he's one of Phoenix's true top docs.
And what's really amazing, and why we chose heart disease, is that it's not just the #1 killer among men anymore. I was so shocked, Dr. John, to realize that it's the #1 killer among women as well.
Right.
Unbelievable.
I mean, most women, I think, are surprised to know that it's not breast cancer, it's not melanoma, it's actually heart disease. And the hard part with women is, with men, crushing chest pain, sweatiness, it's like they read the book.
Right.
Women present a lot of different ways, and one of the things we'll talk with Dr. Laufer about is kind of what to look for.
All right, let's go ahead and roll the tape.
And why don't you just push up against my hand, push up towards you. Okay, now push towards me.
For 60-year-old Sharon Huggins, this is now a monthly ritual, a visit to cardiologist Nathan Laufer. It all started 5 years ago when she had a heart attack and learned how lucky she was to have survived it.
When I was in ICU after my bypass, my daughter came and we were walking around the pod, and I was looking in all the doors, and they were all men, and I was the only woman there. So I turned to my daughter and I said, well, where's all the women? And she says, they're all in the morgue, Mom. Doctors don't realize women have heart attacks.
Unfortunately, that can be the case because when women come in with chest pain, they're not taken as seriously as men are, and women who are actually just as likely to have heart attacks as men are, but they're not diagnosed as frequently as men are, and when they do have a heart attack, they tend to have a worse survival rate than men do. What we're doing is we're checking for fluid in your lungs that can develop if your heart muscle gets a little bit weak. Mrs. Huggins had been a heavy smoker, and at age 55, plus a smoking history, plus being postmenopausal, that's the time when heart attacks start happening in females.
Smoking is one of the key reasons women face heart disease at a rapidly growing rate. But that's not the only thing they put in their bodies that have a direct effect on the heart.
The most important thing is a regular exercise program and a diet that is low in saturated fats. Use vegetable oils instead of animal oils or animal fats, and low carbohydrates. And a good rule of thumb that patients don't like to hear is that if it tastes good, don't eat it. Okay, what we're doing now is we're doing an ultrasound of the heart, and this is a fairly standard technique today, looking at all of the chambers. We're looking at the chamber sizes.
As a result of technology, cardiac care has become even more successful in the detection and prevention of heart disease.
Cardiology is evolving by the minute, and we're staying abreast of new developments as they happen, and we're doing a lot of cardiac research at the Heart and Vascular Center to try and help develop some of these new techniques. We have a lot that we can do today to prevent the development of heart attacks once we have diagnosed heart disease in women as well as men.
Take a look at this stent, a tiny piece of wire that Dr. Laufer says will eventually make bypass surgery obsolete.
This is a device that we place across the coronary artery narrowings that can help prevent patients from going on to having a heart attack. What we do is we thread this across the narrowing. We then look under x-rays to make sure it's in the right place, and then we inflate the balloon, which stretches the artery and stretches the stent. We will then deflate the balloon, and then we'll be able to pull the balloon back, leaving the stent in position across the coronary artery.
Despite all these new techniques, if you believe something is wrong, the most important thing is to get help early.
Well, the first thing is for women to recognize that these chest pains that they're having are really not in their head. They've been told for years, especially the ones who have mitral prolapse, that they should ignore a lot of the pains that they're having. But as they get older, some of these pains should certainly be taken seriously, and they should seek medical attention.
Now, Dr. Laufer believes there are 4 simple ways to take care of your heart, and they probably sound kind of obvious. The first one is stop smoking, watch your blood pressure, watch your cholesterol, and exercise. And again, I know it sounds obvious, Heidi, but you'd be amazed at how many people don't do it. In fact, when they come into the emergency department, you know, you ask them, they say, oh, I was going to stop smoking, I was going to start exercising, and it's always a little late.
And also stress is a factor too, and when women have a lot going on, coupled with everything else, there you are with heart disease. So hopefully all of you are listening out there. Coming up next, we are going to meet a terrific woman who has survived 2 bouts of ovarian cancer, and she's lived to write about it. You'll learn so much from her inspiring story, so please don't go away. We'll be right back.
Your Health A to Z, presented by NextCare.
Welcome back, everyone. Imagine feeling just fine one day and finding out the next that you're dealing with not your first but second bout with ovarian cancer, a typically deadly cancer with few or no symptoms. In fact, Annette has written a book called Outside the Lines of Love, Life, and Cancer. She is our guest today, and she is Annette Mattern, and she's here to provide a lot of inspiration and hope for people out there. Thanks for being with us, Annette.
Thank you.
Now, the name of the book, the title says a lot, but tell us about it.
Well, most people believe when they go into some kind of crisis that there's a wonderful medical team that's going to tell you everything that you need to know, and you put your life in the hands of experts.
Exactly.
What I found on my particular journey, and as I've worked with other patients in catastrophic illness, is that there are many other things in your life that you can affect that will give you a different outcome. You have control of your own spirit. You have control of the things that your nutrition, your ability to move. And those are things that really helped me to gain control of my life.
Well, I mean, you said it actually, I think you said it perfectly, that now how much control of your kind of medical care did you take? Were you just empowered to say, okay, this is what, you're the experts, this is what you're telling me, but here's what I want? Were you, how involved were you?
Well, in the beginning, like most people, I just was leaving it to everyone else to tell me what to do. And at some point when I was losing so much ground, I realized that this was my team. My medical team was my team, and I needed to call the shots. The first thing is understanding what's happening to you. That's the very first step in gaining control. The second was to have an idea of how you're going to be at the end of this experience so that you can start doing everything within your ability to affect that outcome.
Wow, very good.
Annette, when you talk about the experience itself, you went from hardcore chemotherapy, you had been through everything. You really shifted gear, the psychological and nutritional approach, and basically taking your business background and applying it to a new life plan. How did you do that, and how did you survive 2 rounds of ovarian cancer? That seems just virtually impossible to me.
Well, first of all, I was surrounded by an abundance of love, and I had a very strong will to live. I wanted my life back. I had a wonderful life, and I decided that I was going to do everything that I could. I mean, wouldn't you? If you were getting ready to run a marathon in a couple of months, you would be training for it. You would be doing everything to get
Mind over
yourself
matter, basically.
psychologically, spiritually committed to the road ahead.
Psyched up for it.
So, Natalie, what's the most important lesson you learned from that? If you could just sum it up in one lesson, what would it be?
Don't give up hope, and don't give up power.
Right. It's not a race, it's a marathon.
Exactly.
Very good.
Good. And I have one more question for you. What do you tell women out there who are really in a very low place? Because it's great to get psyched up, it's great to have the mindset, but there's a big gap in getting there and really being able to actually do the mind over matter and take control of your life. What do you tell them?
Well, whatever is holding you back, whether it's because you're not sure of yourself with medical people, because you've never been in a situation where you had to be in control.
And it is intimidating. It's very intimidating.
You bet. But it's your life. Nothing is more important than your life. So don't give it away.
All right. Hopefully people out there are listening. All right. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much, Annette. Okay, up next, got milk? Well, you don't need that. Milk? No, we'll show you the best ways to make sure your bones are in shape with a new drink and a few other ways to fight off osteoporosis. We'll be right back.